August 8th, 2025, somewhere in the Pacific, Monkey D. Luffy sits on the Thousand Sunnies figurehead, grinning at the horizon like he always does. Behind him, the Straw Hat crew goes about their business. Sanji's cooking, Zoro's napping, Nami's shouting about something. They've toppled warlords, defied emperors, and punched a celestial dragon in the face. Another day in paradise. But let's change one thing. A dimensional rift drops the Sunny into the middle of a U.S. Navy carrier strike group conducting exercises near Guam. The sailors see a pirate ship with a lion figurehead materialize out of thin air. The officers see a potential threat in restricted waters. And when Luffy waves at an approaching destroyer with a big dumb smile, they see a hostile gesture. The first shots are fired before anyone can explain that this weird rubber kid just wants to know if they have any meat. So, what happens when the future king of the pirates faces off against the world's most powerful navy? 10 a.m., Philippine Sea. The destroyer USS Milius opens fire with its 5-inch deck gun. 127mm shells at 2,500 feet per second, each round carrying enough explosive to sink small vessels. The shells arc toward the Thousand Sunny. Luffy's arm stretches 40 feet and bats the first shell into the ocean like a baseball. The second one, he catches and throws back, not at the ship, but past it, sending a geyser of water high enough to soak the bridge crew. He's not even fighting yet. He's playing. The Milius launches RIM-66 standard missiles, Mach 3.5 surface-to-air weapons repurposed for surface targets, each carrying a 137-pound warhead. 3 missiles streak toward the Sunny, trailing white smoke. Luffy inflates his body like a balloon. Gomo Gomo no Fusen. The first missile hits his rubber belly and bounces back toward the ocean, detonating harmlessly. The second and third sink into his expanded gut, lose all momentum, and slide off into the water like toys dropped in pudding. In One Piece, Luffy's rubber body has absorbed cannon fire, punches from giants, and direct hits from opponents who could shatter mountains. His devil fruit doesn't just make him stretchy, it makes him virtually immune to blunt force and impact damage. Missiles are just really fast punches. 10:30 a.m. The carrier strike group repositions. The USS Ronald Reagan, 100,000 tons of nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, launches FA-18 Super Hornets. Each jet carries AIM-120 AMRAAM missiles and 20mm Vulcan cannons. Luffy watches the jets approach with stars in his eyes. He's never seen anything like them. They're so cool. They're so fast. He wants one. The lead Hornet fires an AMRAAM at Mach 4. Luffy's observation Hakai, the ability to sense attacks before they happen, flares to life. To him, the missiles move in slow motion. He's dodged attacks from Katakuri, a man who could see seconds into the future and move faster than eyesight. A missile is nothing. He stretches his arm toward the lead jet, fingers extending hundreds of meters in an instant. Gomo Gomo no pistol. His fist punches through the Hornet's wings, sending the aircraft into a spin. The pilot ejects safely as Luffy retracts his arm, looking mildly disappointed that the cool sky machine broke so easily. The remaining jets try strafing runs. 20mm rounds at 6,000 per minute, each bullet carrying 12,000 joules. Against any normal target, this is shredding firepower. The bullets hit Luffy and sink into his rubber skin like pebbles into a trampoline. Then they bounce back. The pilots watch their own ammunition ricochet toward them at reduced but still dangerous velocities. 2 jets take hits to their engine intakes and flame out. The others break off, reporting that their weapons are literally bouncing off the target. 11 a.m. The strike group commander orders Tomahawk cruise missiles. The USS Shiloh, an Aegis cruiser, launches a salvo of 8 BGM-109s, each carrying a 1,000-pound warhead at 550 miles per hour. These missiles have leveled buildings in every conflict since Desert Storm. Luffy cracks his knuckles. Time to try something fun. He activates Gear Second, pumping blood through his rubber body at superhuman speed, steam rising from his skin as his metabolism accelerates exponentially. In this form, he blitzed through Blueno's Takai, shattered Rob Lucci's iron body, and moved fast enough to create after images. 8 missiles, 8 blurs of motion, 8 splashes in the ocean as Luffy redirects each Tomahawk away from his crew with precise, steam-powered punches. The entire salvo is neutralized in under 4 seconds. The Sunny hasn't taken a single hit. Nami is yelling at Luffy about property damage. Zoro is still asleep. 12 p.m. The Pentagon patches into the carrier group's command center. Satellite footage shows a single figure on a wooden ship deflecting cruise missiles with his bare hands. Analysts are screaming about impossible physics. The Admiral authorizes overwhelming force. The entire strike group opens fire simultaneously. Deck guns, missile batteries, close-in weapon systems, a wall of metal and explosives converging on the 1,000 Sunny from every direction. Luffy stops smiling, not because he's in danger, because they're shooting at his crew. He activates Gear 4th, Bound Man. His body inflates with concentrated haki, rubbery muscles coated in invisible armor that can clash with the strongest fighters in the world. Luffy bounces to the next ship, and the next. Each Kong gun targets the water, not the vessel, using hydrodynamic force to capsize without killing. It's harder than just punching through them, but Luffy has never killed anyone he didn't have to. Even enemies. Even people trying to murder his friends. In 3 minutes, 4 destroyers are capsized and 2 cruisers are dead in the water. 1 p.m. The Ronald Reagan turns to flee. A 100,000-ton supercarrier running from one rubber buoy on a wooden ship. The Admiral orders all remaining aircraft to provide cover while the carrier retreats to safer waters. Luffy lets them go. He's made his point. He doesn't want to fight these people. He just wants them to stop shooting. But then a submarine surfaces. The USS Missouri, a Virginia-class attack sub, launches a spread of Mk-48 torpedoes directly at the 1,000 Sunny. These aren't missiles Luffy can punch away. They're underwater, tracking the Sunny's hull, carrying 650 pounds of high explosive each. For the first time, Luffy's expression shifts to something serious. He can't stretch underwater. The ocean is a devil fruit user's ultimate weakness. He can't reach the torpedoes in time. His crew's in danger, and for a fraction of a second, he doesn't have a solution. Then he grins. He doesn't need to touch the torpedoes. He needs to move the ship. Gomo Gomo no Gigant. His arm expands to the size of the Sunny itself. He grabs the ship's mast and throws the entire vessel 300 meters to starboard. The torpedoes pass through empty water and detonate harmlessly against nothing. The crew is screaming, partly from the sudden acceleration, partly from Nami threatening to kill Luffy herself for the whiplash, but they're alive. The Sunny is intact. Luffy turns toward the submarine with a look that has made emperors reconsider their life choices. 2 p.m. The Pentagon receives word that the entire carrier strike group has been neutralized by a single combatant without a single confirmed fatality. The Missouri is being towed back to port with a Luffy-shaped dent in its conning tower. No one is quite sure how a punch traveled through water, but the sonar operators swear they heard laughter before the impact. Someone suggests nuclear options. Someone else points out that they just watched this kid throw a ship like a frisbee and they're not entirely sure nukes would help. The order never comes. 3 p.m. A diplomatic vessel approaches the 1,000 Sunny with white flags flying. Through a very confused translator, the Navy learns that Luffy isn't an invader. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't want to conquer anything. He just wants to find the One Piece, become the king of the pirates, and also, do they have any meat? He's really hungry. The Admiral stares at the damage report. Billions of dollars in disabled warships, dozens of aircraft destroyed, an entire carrier strike group humiliated, and rubs his temples. This rubber idiot isn't even their enemy. He was just defending himself badly, enthusiastically, with property damage that would make accountants weep. By sunset, the Straw Hats are eating Navy rations on the deck of the Ronald Reagan while scientists try to figure out how to send them home. Luffy has made friends with half the crew by challenging them to arm wrestling. He's won every match. He's also eaten the entire officer's mess supply of steak. Final assessment, the U.S. military versus Monkey D. Luffy is a fight they cannot win without weapons he's naturally immune to. Bullets bounce off him, missiles bounce off him. His haki lets him sense attacks before they land and hit harder than any conventional explosive. And in Gear 4th or 5th, he operates at a level that makes aircraft carriers look like bath toys. But here's one thing about Luffy. He doesn't want to fight unless he has to. He's beaten warlords, toppled governments, and punched gods, but only when they threatened his friends or his dream. The US military wasn't his enemy. They were just people who didn't understand what they were shooting at. The moment they stopped shooting, so did he. Earth's best defense against Luffy isn't weapons, it's a good meal and an honest handshake. That's all I had. If you want to see the next video in this series, click the video on screen now. Thanks for watching.